Very much so. Tell me, I suppose for someone who's considering hospitality first of all, but more importantly a front office role, like there's obviously different roles within that. If you could, I suppose, briefly just describe to anyone who's trying to learn from this today as to what the different roles would be and what competencies that they would need or qualities to enjoy that role and to be successful in it.
I think within front office there are obviously a lot of different departments. I mean, depending on which hotel you work at and where you are, you have things like from your bell team. We've got drivers here, we've got our concierge, we've got guest relations, we've got guest services, we've got the telephone operators, we've got front office, the reception desk, we've got the Royal Club. There's a whole variety of different departments.
All guest orientated in effect.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And I think it's actually good to start fresh. So say even as a telephone operator or even as a bellman.
Right.
I know when I started 12 years ago, that was always, I remember my very first front office manager, he actually started as a bellman. And then, at the same hotel and quite a few years down the track, he was the front office manager.
Okay.
So you get that great grounding, you learn from day one, you learn what the bellmen do, you learn what he works his way out through concierge and reservations and reception and all of that. You learn everything, and then when you become a manager, you have that appreciation for what everyone does, which I think is very important. I mean, I believe study is very important as well. Definitely, studying hospitality now has become very important because that's what people look for, especially if they're going to consider you later on an investment and they're going to invest time in you to become a manager, department head, etc. So I also think it's important for those people who do study to also start at the ground level and not to just walk out of a university or somewhere where they've studied and expect to be an assistant manager or a manager virtually straight away.
Because often you do, I find, or you meet people or you've experienced that people walk out of university and expect to have those skills, and actually acquiring of those people skills is probably a lot more difficult.
Definitely. It's the people skills that you definitely need to enhance and definitely need to work on. They're the sorts of things that, like I said, that's the sort of thing I learn every day, is how to interact with people, whether it be guests or staff as well. Staff are obviously very, very important. You need to have that interaction with your staff. You can't be sort of sitting in your office and completely unaware of what's happening with the staff and how they're feeling and how they're dealing with certain situations throughout the day. So you need to have that interaction with them as well. Okay.
There's a lot of roles, I think, as you said, that you've highlighted within the team. So to enjoy that and to be successful, what kind of qualities do you think someone should have to enjoy that, obviously? Good temperament? Enjoy people?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely need to enjoy the company of others. You can't just sort of sit there and not smile and you can't be like a robot. You can't just sit there and process every check-in just virtually as if it was like a manufacturing line. Every interaction with a guest is different. And you need to respect that and you need to understand that as well. So that's definitely very important, is the personality skills and things like that, and reading people and understanding people. That's very important. And also there is a lot of paperwork, and you need to be analytical. You need to be able to prioritise things as well. It's not just all about sitting there and chatting with people.
And organised.
Yeah, you need to be organised as well. Definitely.
Okay. Tell me, I suppose we often meet people in our lifetimes, in our careers, that we find very inspiring or very motivating. Is there any one particular, or possibly two or three individuals that have stood out in your mind?
There's a couple. I've obviously had a few different managers throughout my career. There's probably three, actually, all front office managers that I can completely just would love to be like, and I hope that I am in some aspect, because they've sort of been mentors for me and they've helped me through my career. From my very first front office manager at my hotel on the Gold Coast, he was brilliant. Just his people skills and the way he did speak with the staff, and actually it goes through all three of them, the three that I really respect and feel privileged to have served under, basically. All three of them virtually were the same. Even there was a couple of different nationalities in there. But their personalities were all the same. They just treat everyone with respect, from staff and guests, and they look after you while you're there, and they nurture you through your career, and they help you and they guide you and things like that. And that's what I have tried to do in my career as well, is help people get to my position, basically,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I need to be, making sure that I have people, if say I go somewhere, if I, am promoted somewhere, then I need to have someone who's ready to walk into my position, and then there needs to be someone ready to walk into that position, and so on and so on. So, and sometimes helping those people get to those positions might not actually be they want to stay in hotels. For example, like I've had cases where people, I've actually helped them leave the hotel
because it's better for their...
Exactly, it's not what they want.
It's not suited. Possibly?
No, definitely. And I've helped them go to either another department within the hotel or even out of the hotel completely, just because that's how they feel, and that's how I felt as well. Yeah. And they've definitely thrived from that.
It's good, I think, in hotels, because there are so many different job roles. We were saying that, from people, I suppose, who are fresh out of school, you really just don't know where to start.
No.
Just don't.
I think that's why I started in banquets. I definitely look back on that as, some of the best times that I ever had. Sometimes we were working killer hours, like 16, 20 hours. My very first day I started work, I worked 20 and a half hours.
Wow.
And I was tempted not to go back.
Dare I ask what you were paid for that?
Yeah, next to nothing.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was my first day. My feet were
20
ridiculously
and a half
sore.
hours.
I've pulled a few 24-hour shifts and things like that, all in banquets, because of the demand, turning over ballrooms from lunch to dinner and dinner to breakfast.
First day, though, that was really...
Yeah.
What did your mother think?
Yeah.
Is he coming home at all, my son?
Yeah. They thought I was actually out drinking after work. But then I arrived back home at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was sitting outside having my breakfast, and I said, I've just got home from work, and yeah. But like I said, it was brilliant. My feet killed me because obviously new in the business, new in the industry, had brand new shoes and blisters all over my feet. But just the teamwork and everything. It wasn't just me that did it. It was everyone else that did it as well, and we knew we had to get it done. So yeah, interesting times.